By a lubular lake on a far-off planet, there lived a young Smed, and her name was Janet. Not far away, on a Humblety hill, there lived a young Smoo by the name of Bill. Janet, like all the Smeds, was red. And this is what her grandfather said.
Never, never play with the
Smooths!
They sleep in holes. They wear strange shoes. They jump about like
Kangaroos!
Never, never play with the Smoos.
Bill, like the other Smoos, was blue. And these were the words of Grandmother Smoo.
Never, never play with the Smeds. They have strange hair upon their heads. They sleep in funny things called beds. Never, never play
with the Smeds.
The Smeds on their lake liked nothing better than splashing about, getting wetter and wetter. But Janet grew bored of this watery play. And that was the reason she tiptoed away. The Smoos jumped about on their Humblety hill. They bounced up and down it and never stood still. But Bill was beginning to think,
this is boring.
And that was the reason he set off exploring. Janet met Bill in the Wurpula Wood, where the trockles grew tall and the glompons smelled good. The two rubbed antennae and played all day long.
I told you a story. You sing me a song.
Ba-ba-dee-da-da-da, ba-ba-dee-da-da. Ba-ba-dee-da-da-da, ba-ba-dee-da-da. Ba-ba-dee-da-da, ba-ba-dee-da-da. Hey, ba-ba-dee-da-da, ba-ba-dee-da-da.
Then they climbed to the top of a gerberry coot and nibbled its juicy and jellyful fruit. Till who should disturb them but Grandfather Smed, shaking his fist as he angrily said,
Never, never play with a Smoo! That's such a nasty shade of blue. For the 100th time, I say to you, never, never play with a Smoo!
Grandmother Smoo was close behind. And this is how she spoke her mind.
Oh, never, never play with a Smed. They're such a dreadful shade of red. I'll say again what I've always said. Never, never play with a Smed.
Years went by on the far-off planet. Janet missed Bill. And Bill missed Janet. So off they crept, whenever they could, to sing and play in the Wurpula Wood.
Hello, everyone.
We've decided to wed.
But what do you think their grandparents said?
Never, never marry a Smoo! They're a beastly bunch. They're a crazy crew. They drink black tea. They eat green stew. Never, never marry a Smoo.
Never, never marry a Smed. My dearest child, are you off your head? They drink pink milk. They eat brown bread. Never, never marry a Smed.
Janet and Bill stole out that night, while their family slept and the scroon shone bright. They clambered up to the Smeds' red rocket.
Grandfather Smed has forgotten to lock it.
Bill pressed the button, and Janet steered. When their families woke, they had both disappeared. The Smeds said,
Your Bill must have stolen our Janet!
And taken her off to a distant planet.
The Smooth said,
It's Janet who's stolen our Bill!
And lured him away from the Humpelty Hill.
The Smooths climbed into their rocket of blue.
But what about us?
You had better come too.
Suspicious and scowling, they soared into space. Till they reached planet Vumjum. A dry, dusty place. The Vums had long arms which they waved in the air. But they didn't have news of the runaway pair. The next stop was Lurglestrop, covered in roses. And watered by beasts with small eyes and long noses. They touched down on Grimbletosh, coated in grime. They searched Planet Lurch, but found nothing but slime.
I'm sorry to tell you, we've run out of tea.
Oh.
Hey, go.
Have some of our milk.
Oh, it's as pink as can be.
What?
Then Grandfather Smed said,
My hair needs a trim.
and Grandmother Smoo kindly cut it for him. They landed on Skloop, where the Skloopies wore kilts. They flew to Kaboo, where the Clabs walked on stilts. We've searched all year long.
And we'll search longer still.
We didn't find Janet.
We didn't find Bill. Alas,
said the Smooths, and the Smeds said, Alack.
We have failed in our quest.
We had better turn back.
So they turned and flew home to their very own planet. And far down below them, they saw
Bill and Janet!
the rocket touched down, and they ran to the wood, where the trockles grew tall and the glompons smelled good. And there, in a glade, by the rocket of red, were the runaway Smoo and the runaway Smed.
We got lost and flew home again, only to find that all of you others had left us behind.
There was joy, jam, and jumping. Then Janet said,
Maybe you'd like to make friends with our dear little baby.
A baby?
A red one? A blue one!
But no. That baby was purple, from head to toe. They all hugged the Smooth Smed.
Our new baby brother!
And Grandpa and Gran even hugged one another. They laughed and they splashed and they danced with delight and they played with that baby from morning till night.
we've made him a rattle.
We've made him a flute.
Let's feed him the fruit of the Jarbury coot.
And they sang by the light of the silvery squoon.
And you can sing too.
If you make up a tune.
Play with the Smeds.
And play with the Smoos.
Play with whichever friends you choose.
Then close your eyes, and while you snooze,
Dream of the Smeds.
and dream of the Smoos.
Plenty more to unwrap under our tree. Guy Ritchie's live action Aladdin's in 10 minutes. But first, 3 o'clock on Christmas Day, of course, it's the King's Christmas broadcast next.